Good afternoon. So today we are going to be doing some St. Louis ribs, and I have got 2 packs from Sam's Club. These come in packs of 2 ribs, so I'm actually doing 4 racks of ribs today. You'll notice that these spare ribs have the tips on them. I am going to be cutting those off. My cooker will not fit 4 racks of ribs with the tips on them. So I'll be going St. Louis style, which is typical for me. It's my favorite way to do them. I've got a boning knife here. Make sure your boning knife is sharp. You could get this online at Amazon. It's got a really comfortable handle, but you'll notice the curved blade. It is very sharp. This is what you're going to want to use when you are prepping your spare ribs. You'll notice I've got a cutting board down. If you've seen my other videos, I always put a towel underneath the cutting board. And this cutting board is a big guy too. You'll notice there's no overlap. These ribs will fit on here from end to end. They're not going to be hanging over the side or anything like that. So get yourself a nice big chumpy cutting board. I'm going to go ahead and open these up. Just poke a hole in the vacuum pack and open them up. Grab a rack of these bad boys and face side down. So face down here. All right. Now what I'm going to be doing with these first is I'm going to be cutting this flap off here. Now this one isn't too bad at all, so I'm just going to be cutting it a little. I like to leave about a 1/4 inch to the bone there. Don't like to cut it off too much because I like the ribs to have protection. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to square these up a little bit so I have more room, so I can feel the ends of the bone here where the tips are kind of trailing off. And I'm looking for one of those bones. I'm going to cut straight down. So the point is to square these off. Chef Ann would be really upset with me having my finger on top of the knife like that, but you know what, I don't care. Now I'm going to square them off this way, and I'm going to cut off the rib tips. Now you are going to go through some cartilage here, some hard stuff, so get above the rib bones to where the tips are, and once you think that you're good and square, you're going to cut a straight line down, and you'll have to press pretty hard, get these guys through. And you should be able to get it in one shot. There's the tips. I save them a lot, and I cook them sometimes for my wife and I, but I'm not doing them this time. I'm just tossing them. All right, now what we're gonna do is remove the membrane. Get yourself some paper towel. It's one piece will do. Over where they cut the bones on the one side, you can see where there's gonna typically be a bone that's kind of sticking out where they make the cut there. You can normally grab the membrane right there. And I'm going to wind up getting rid of this rib on the end anyway. But you can normally grab this and take it in one pull. Sometimes it's kind of like tape, or it'll be annoying and it'll break off like in the middle. You might have to do it in 2. There we go, that guy. There you go. So there's my membrane. It's that simple. Paper towel does all the difference, and start at the end where the rib is sticking out. You don't have to mess around with sticking a dinner knife in there or anything trying to get it out. Now I'm just basically going to trim these to satisfaction. I mean, if there's any pieces there sticking off or they don't look right, I'm just going to cut them off. If there's any fat that's on here that is going to keep the smoke from penetrating to my ribs, I can pull that off. Or I can cut it off. In this case, it's pretty good. Just a little bit there. You're just kind of pulling up a little bit and then cutting. Get it on the other side. Same thing. If there's anything you want to cut, cut it. If not, leave it be. And finally, this last bone here, I'm just going to cut off. I am going to cut as close to the rib bone as possible. Leave myself as much meat to protect that final rib on the end. See, this is really nothing here. And that's it. That's number one. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to lay these down on a sheet face down. The first part that I'm going to season is going to be the underside. And then I'll let that set. And then I'll flip them over. I'll do the top side. All right. And here's the other side. This guy feels heavier. And I'm going to lift up that flat like we did before. This one's got a bigger flat. And I'm just going to leave about 1/4 inch to the rib bones so that during my cook, after everything recedes, when you cook these to 200, a lot's going to break down. And what you don't want are the ribs sticking out afterwards. Where they're falling apart, they've got nothing to hang on to. So I make sure that I leave a little bit of meat there. That's from my own experience. If I'm wrong, tell me about it. That's my experience. Leave a little meat there, don't cut clean down to the bone. Now I'm just kind of feeling around here for where the end is. So there's a final rib bone up here. I'm gonna cut down like before and make it square. You shouldn't be cutting through bone here. Cartilage at the most, but there really shouldn't be much, just a little bit of the tips at the top. All right, and then same thing at the top here. I'm gonna cut down, so I'm looking for where the rib ends and where the tip begins. And I'm gonna square that up. Love this song on the radio. If any of you are from the South Jersey area, first lyric is, cutting the rug down at a place called The Jug. Any of you know about The Jug? They have got the best wings in the state. All right, rib tips, membrane. Insane in the membrane. Pick it up here. April, everything okay up there? My daughter seems a little upset. I did not take away any toys this time around. That call out is for my buddy Nisley, who called me out on that on my last video. It was a very loud whistle, Nisley. All right. There we go. All right, membrane's off. I'm excited at the burn. Let's flip these over. These look good too. And that's really all it is. Put those over here. Got some really big ribs going on this time. Now I got 2 more of those to do. I will show you how I'm going to season them up in another video and what kind of seasoning I use. My wife makes it, so it's pretty cool. Homemade stuff. We are a tag team barbecue team. And I will see you on the next video.